right now, in the middle of winter, a lot of things which are happening, yes, you're right inside of the gardener's brains. All those dreams for 2025, fresh new year. So we are going to talk about my plans for the garden in 2025. I introduced quite a few ephemerals into my garden in the spring of 2024, and I wasn't here to take care of them. So I'm not sure how they're going to do this spring. So this spring is going to show. So there are two I took my bet on them, on these plants. So we have Virginia bluebells and Trillium. And I'm not sure if they will be very happy in my garden because they do require well-draining soil, which I have. They do require not wet conditions, but a constant presence of moisture, which can be tricky here. Because last year we had the end of the season was very dry, and I'm not sure if they would like it. So we have Virginia bluebells. They are blooming with a very beautiful color, with a bluish, purplish color in spring. They're very faithful, coming out every spring, producing those blooms. But because my garden can give them pot shade, what they want, my garden can give them well-draining soil, but that constant presence of moisture can be problematic. And I introduced quite a few plants. I believe I ordered like 2 shipments of Virginia bluebells, and they came just before I had to go to Ukraine for a month and a half. So my son was taking care of them, and he was worried that they're going into dormancy. He was thinking they're dying on him. I said, you know what, not a biggie, let them go into dormancy. That's what they're supposed to do. And this year they might bloom, might not, we will see. I planted quite a few Virginia bells near my roses here at the back only, and because I always water my roses, I'm kind of hoping that moisture would be enough to keep Virginia bells going. As for Trilliums, I think I also misplaced them a little bit. I planted them right here near my swing, and that area is very dry here. So I'm definitely taking chances with those two spring blooming perennials, and they are kind of short-lived. Virginia bluebells, really 5 years, so they are considered long-lived ephemerals in the garden. Okay, another beautiful introduction is I introduced last year, and they are going to perform by all means. They are kind of aggressive self-spreaders here considered in Connecticut. So I took my chances too with those. Those are Siberian squill, and I ordered them in 2 different colors, in whites and in blues. So around my butterfly bush, we will have a little colony of white Siberian squill, and all around the garden, we will have the blue Siberian squill. And Siberian squill can reseed aggressively. Here I am, I'm taking my chances. I want those spring blooming color in my garden, since I usually have only, well, this year I have tulips coming up too. Quite a few of introductions were also planted. And I have beautiful daffodils. Daffodils are always there. I'm sure tulips are not going to be here for a long time, and I'm hoping that squirrels are not going to get them, because at the back where I have my where I have my back sofa, garden sofa, I planted yellow tulips. It can be so breathtaking between my boxwoods and the yellow tulips at the back. Well, the spring will show if squirrels would be scared of my tulips and would not touch them, or they will take every single bloom. So we have those Virginia bluebells, Trillium, and Trillium is also performing very well in spring, and it has 3 leaves, 3 petals on the flowers, a beautiful, charming woodland area plant. It loves to be on the edge of the woodland where there is presence of moisture, a lot of leaf pile up, and a lot of organic matter. I can provide that. But constant moisture, I also took a bet. So this year is going to show how Trillium will perform in our garden. Is it a keeper here, or it will just slowly disappear? For the last several years, I was working in the garden to turn every, well, I wouldn't say ugly spot, but spot which is not really beautiful, into a beautiful spot. Like for example here, this was very bare here, this place. I really didn't like it, so now we have beautiful Katrina rose growing here. So I must say that we have one more spot to take care after. And last year I was working hard with my plans, my ideas. Couldn't do it, but this year definitely. It's an area behind my generous garden rose, totally annoying, and I'm going to turn it into this storage area because it's hard to store things in the small garden and at the same time hide it so well that it will look really good. Let me show you. So we have here the beautiful generous gardener, right? And behind my generous gardener there is this last ugly spot in my garden, which I am working for several years to improve. This is what I mean, the space under our evergreen tree. And I installed already here the passage. I planted boxwoods here to create some sort of a nice road here, kind of to enter into the garden. But this area here is always used to store twigs, which I always need in the garden. And now the boat found its place here for the winter. So instead of fighting it and clearing it up all the time, I'm going to introduce another big, massive wattle fence here, just going behind the trunk of the tree, maybe making a curve here to hide it all. It's good. It has to be somewhat tall to hide all the mess, and all the stuff would be able to exist well hidden, and the wattle fence will be a good feature here, you know. And one more thing, which is also long processed plan, would be to introduce finally water features in the garden. And I want to do some sort of fountain using hypertufa medium with sealants and create beautiful water presence, you know. The water sound can be very alluring. Ideally I want to make two fountains, one here because we have our dinners here all the time. This area is kind of open just under my rose, and I know that presence of water and rose is not a good combination, so hopefully I would be able to figure out something. But I want a fountain here. I want that nice constant trickle of water stream to be here when we're having dinner. And another fountain, maybe near our side bench where my husband likes to read his newspapers. That can be a lovely relaxation presence too. So these are the plans for 2025. I'm sure more of stuff will be coming up, and every year, because my roses are becoming more and more mature, every year it's more and more exciting, right? This year the new dawn rose, it would be so much stronger, maybe climbing on top of my arch there. Katrina rose near the dinner table would be so much stronger. The side rose near the side of the garden at the Lady Orleans, wonderful, wonderful. I look forward to see Olivia Austin. Wonderful things. There are several things I need to do with my Lady of Shalott. I think Lady of Shalott is becoming a little bit old, and there is a big competition between the tree roots, I believe, and the rose itself. So I'm going to trim those tree roots near the side of the rose. Let's see how that goes. I will keep you posted. All right, my dear gardeners, have a lovely day. We are going to have a huge storm again here in Connecticut. Tomorrow, more snow coming up to this beautiful wonderland. I love winter, but I'm looking forward to spring. See you. Happy gardening.